Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm your host, Mega Ruler 31. There I am. I don't know what happened to me there. Got a nice 8-game slate here, but before we get going, if you always want to help us out, we always say at the end of the video, if you make it that far, that watching the video helps us, but liking the video and sharing with friends. But the other benefit too is subscribing to our channel, and that if you didn't know, and I don't know if many people do know because we're only getting like a couple hundred views on it, but I have been starting to do NFL videos. I know a lot of you ask for it throughout the season, so if you're aware, I just want to let you know that that is going on. And I hope to have one. We got two NFL games tonight, so I hope to have like a breakdown video sometime this afternoon over about the two showdown slates. So keep your eyes out for that. So if you subscribe to our channel and you turn on notifications, you know when our videos are there or they show up in your stream, and it's easier to find them. So and NFL week 2 went really well. If you did watch the video, I had Tampa Bay defense, had White as a running back. They paired up really well. I was on Reed there from Green Bay. He had a rushing touchdown, looked pretty good. So, did quite well. I had a pretty profitable day on that. So anyways, back to baseball. Things are heating up. Pennant races, people are shutting down. So like we're here to dig in deep to try to tell you if you're still playing, who to play. So first game we have, and no weather concerns, which is really nice for once. Chicago White Sox, Washington Nationals, Mike Clevenger and Adon. Clevenger, I think, is in play here. He's had one bad start recently. I think it was against Detroit, which is kind of weird, but earlier in the season, Detroit was a dying killer. For some reason, Detroit couldn't hit against anybody unless you threw an ace pitcher out there, and then all of a sudden, they were like on fire. So it's baseball, high variance sport, lots can happen. But Clevenger, I think, is remotely safe here. Washington's better against lefties and righties, and Abrams definitely has some power, and Lane Thomas is a good player, but other than that, there's really nobody in this lineup that I'm super stoked about playing. On the other side here, Adon, he's had some good starts on the road, but home splits have been horrible. I don't get it, but it's there. The White Sox aren't necessarily setting the world on fire, but I think if you're looking for some cheap fill-ins here, if you want to pay up for pitching, they're definitely in play. Next up, screen. We have the Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. Really nice series here. The Braves already have the division, but they're still challenging the Dodgers for home field, although the Dodgers did clinch a playoff spot. And they rested guys on Sunday, so I don't know. We'll have to see if they're going to try to chase down Atlanta for the number one. Acuna's banged up. He was out of the lineup, so still pretty potent, but I mean, that might be if he can't play. And the Braves just got absolutely shellacked by the Marlins yesterday. It looked like a football score on the Marlins side of things. So we'll have to, keep an eye on that. So anyways, Wheeler's been good. If Acuna's out of the lineup, I think that he's definitely in play here. I don't know if I want to pay up from him cash. There's a lot of great mid-range pitchers that make great cash lineups today, but I think he's definitely a consideration. Right, 6K against Philly. I really like the Philly bats in this situation. 75 degrees is one of the warmer places here. The wind's blowing out a little bit in Atlanta. So I don't know. Wright's, still coming back, building himself up. I don't really see him going super deep into the game, and I think Philly's going to put up some runs on him. So, like the Philly bats, definitely, and Atlanta is always in play in a GPP. So, both of them are there. I like Atlanta better if Acuna's in the lineup, but if not, there's still, I like Harris might go lead off or somebody up there that's really cheap, and that makes things a lot bit better. Milwaukee Brewers and St. Louis Cardinals, Freddie Peralta and Adam Wainwright. Peralta definitely in play here. Like the Cardinals they still have some power and it's still a decent lineup. I just don't know why they can't put it together. But Peralta's been pitching really well recently, so I think I definitely and they pulled away a little bit from the Cubs, so I think he gets a normal game. I think they still need to keep their foot on the gas a little bit because there's still a bunch of games left. But as soon as they clinch, maybe some of these guys won't be, because I don't think they have enough to get to the Dodgers to get the first round bye. So I think anyway they look at it, they're probably going to have the third seed, because the fourth seed, like Philly's got a difficult schedule down the stretch, but we'll see. So anyways, I'm not really concerned about Peralta at this point. I think he's going to go out there, have a good game, and definitely if you're paying up for pitcher, like between he and Wheeler, I think he's got the better matchup. Wainwright on the other side, he's still trying. I was wrong a couple videos ago. I thought he was on 199 trying to go for 200, but he's finally got 199, still going for 200. Could it happen here? I don't know. Like, I've seen weird things happen in baseball, especially, when it comes to milestones. So might I throw Adam Wainwright in a lineup for a buck just in case, something magical happens? I think it's worthwhile in a YOLO GPP. That's why I have him in the fave, but that's why I put the YOLO tag next to him. Bat-wise, Milwaukee's definitely the best stack on the slate here. They should absolutely crush Wainwright. Whether Yelich is back or not, he's been struggling with back, but I think they're just kind of resting him for the playoffs here. But Contreras has been solid, even with right and righty. Wainwright, like his splits are neutral at this point. Frelick, what a rookie. Really came on mid-season and is doing well, hitting in the fourth hole here. Adames has been solid. Kana has been on fire, even though he might lead off again if Yelich is not in. Tellis back from the injury. He hasn't had as much pop, but it's always the potential still there. If you want to play him over Santana, save about $1,000. Trang, I still like his speed and power. Like everybody in this Milwaukee lineup is definitely in play. And St. Louis, I think, is definitely a great leverage stack, especially if Peralta is going to get some ownership here. Then I probably would go maybe with like a 3-man, going like Nootbaar, Burleson, Palacios, and maybe like mix in an Arenado or a Goldsmith in the line there. Unless for some reason like Edman moves up or something as a switch hitter and it correlates a little bit better. Next game, we have Boston Red Sox and Texas Rangers. Boston, I don't think is officially eliminated. Maybe they are, but they're really not playing for anything. So just have to see who this lineup is. Jordan Montgomery on the other side. I think he's definitely in play here unless they go an all righty lineup, because even the righties are talented in Boston. I'll get to that in a second. Hitting wise, Cutter Crawford on the other side against Texas. Like Texas is still playing for something. They currently have the 6th seed, so they're just on the cups of making the playoffs. I think they would like to advance a little bit because they own the season sweep against the Blue Jays. Oh, not season sweep. I think it was they had the headbreaker against tiebreaker head what I'm trying to say, against the Blue Jays. So I think they'd really like to try to move up to that 5th spot there, because they faced Tampa Bay, who lost a lot of their pitchers, and I think that's an easier matchup than the Twins, and then getting Houston the second round if everything stays the way it is. If Baltimore has a key series against them, we'll get that into the next game. But Texas is still definitely playing 4th stuff. So Crawford, I think, is in playing the cheap range, but I think he's pretty dangerous here. Montgomery, I like, but again, I have to see what the Red Sox lineup is, because Raphael leading off has speed and power. Reef Snyder, we see, is a good contact hitter. Turner is obviously a good hitter. Devers hits lefties as well as righties. Duvall had a real hot streak, especially against left-handed pitching. Pablo Reyes, we see, has power. Also, Trevor Story, I think, is washed up. But Dahlback's back up. And he was like the same thing we said about like Casas, like although he's like the right-handed version of him, and Casas, I think they're shutting down for the year here. He's got a great rookies, but he started off slow, but when the power is there, and Dahlback's the same thing. We saw it in preseason, like how many bombs this guy would hit, but I just don't think he's got the complete plate discipline, but I think he can really get a hold of one. So I think he's definitely a sneaky play, and he's only like 2,900, and he's shortstop eligible too, which I love that, because sometimes shortstop is such a tough position to play, even though you have Reyes, but Reyes is second base. So like it's kind of those middle infield ones. Sometimes you don't have people to play in a stack, and I think that works out well also. So there's a lot of, I'm really kind of liking this right-handed Boston stack, so I'll have to see what the lineup is. So I'm definitely going to play some of them. And Texas on the other side, definitely like the bats against Crawford. Like they're all good hitters here, so I mean you can pretty much anyone that you want in the lineup, however you want to build it, besides Josh Smith, because he's more of a defensive player. So even Evan Carter on the bottom, who's had a couple home runs and has a ton of potential, he can do as a wraparound, and he's pretty cheap outfielder at 3.6. So now probably the game of the day for like baseball reasons, but I don't know for DFS reasons if it's going to be as good. Baltimore and Houston. John Means coming. He had his first start, he didn't look too bad. He gave up like 2 or 3 runs, but he went 5 innings. But I think they're like looking to get him to be an option in the playoffs. I don't think he'll be a starter, but he might be able to come into a game for like long relief or something like that. So definitely, keep an eye on him. But I don't think I'm going to play him against Houston here, especially with how right-handed powerful they can be. Verlander on our side is Justin Verlander, but this Baltimore team is just amazing at times. Even though they cooled off against Tampa Bay, they turned it on Friday at 8 runs. They did a little bit better, 1 in 11 innings. So they have the tiebreaker over Tampa Bay. And this is a key series here because this is probably going to be who gets home field advantage here, based on the series, especially if they come down to a tie. You really need like the head-to-head games here. So Baltimore bats, I'm still going to play as a leverage stack. Gunnar Henderson, O'Hearn, Santander, Rushman, like you 1 through 5, or even throw in like Mullins here as a 6, and then Heston, Kajustard. I apologize. I'm horrible at names. I know he had a home run the other night because I saw it come up in the box score because I follow Baltimore ever since my daughter went to college down there and went to a game this year. It's just been fun to watch them. So I know that dude has some power, and so there's a lot of ways that you can stack Baltimore here against Verlander. I know Verlander's a good pitcher, but we've seen Baltimore do really well against them. So they've got some really good patient hitters in this lineup, and especially high up with Rushman, Santander, Gunnar Henderson. So definitely, and even Aaron Hicks looks much better than he did as a Yankee. So there's definitely some potential there. And then Houston, love the righties here. Altuve, Bregman, Alvarez is fine lefty and lefty. Tucker's always fine lefty and lefty. I don't know. I know I haven't played much Abreu, but Chas McCormick is decent. Pena, if he moves up to like the 2-hole, is decent. Dubon, even Machado or Maldonado, the catcher at 2.7, still has some power left in him and can get a hold of one, especially at home against the lefty. So Houston's definitely my 3rd favorite stack on the slate. Colorado Rockies and San Diego Padres. Ty Blatch not interested in. Michael Wacha, great matchup for him. Even though the Rockies started hitting and really did well in Coors against San Francisco, especially like starting to hit some long balls again. They're in San Diego. It's a pitcher's park, not a hitter's park. The wind is actually blowing in at like 9 miles per hour, and it's like going to be 66 degrees. So I don't expect much power out of Colorado. So probably not on them or the bats. Wacha definitely like, and San Diego will be my 2nd favorite stack on the slate, especially the righties. Have to see if Kim is still injured. If he's in leading off, definitely put him in my lineup. But if not, Profar, since getting called back up, has been decent. Tatis, Soto, lefty is perfectly fine. Machado, Xander has been decent. Capsian, Campusarno, the catcher is also a decent mid-range catcher at 3.2. I don't know about the bottom of the lineup, but I know Zucar's had some power at time too, and he's just only 2K. So if you want to do like a wraparound thing just to get pay up more for pitcher, get some better pieces in. But if you play 2 of the mid-range pitchers, it's easy to get a San Diego stack that you really like with Milwaukee in this game. Next up, we have the Seattle Mariners and Oakland Athletics. Brian Wu and JP Sears. I actually like both pitchers here. Like Wu just dominated the Athletics. So yes, they've just seen him, but I think he should be fine. And Sears on the other side has been pitching very well recently. And we know, even though there's a lot of right-handed power in Julio Rodriguez and Hernandez and Suarez here, that even Dylan Moore has been good against lefties, that Sears has been solid, and there are some strikeouts in this lineup, so I don't hesitate to play him in cheap range, especially if you want to pivot off of Wu in a GPP and play another pitcher in this range, because that's going to be very contrarian, very low owned. Bat wise, Seattle, definitely like his GPP because I do respect Sears, but definitely the right-handed power is still there. And then Oakland on the other side, I think it's just a leverage shot because Wu's going to be probably one of the highest pitchers on the slate. So left-handed power, like taking Noda. I'm not playing up for G off righty, but Seth Brown's there. Lawrence Butler, especially if he leads off. Even Soderstrom, the catcher, is really cheap. I think he's the cheapest catcher out there. He's got the splits advantage. He's got some power. So definitely like that. Final game, we have the Tigers and the Dodgers. Erod against Lance Lynn. Erod, I like if the Dodgers are going to continue to rest people. So let's look and see who the lineup is. And if it's not all the stars or multiple stars are resting, I think he's definitely in play. If not, if it's full strength, then he's definitely a fade for me. Lance Lynn on the other side, I think is my favorite pitcher on the slate. Like, he should go out there. He needs to continue to stay sharp for the playoffs here. And I think he can go out there and dominate this Tigers lineup. Detroit is obviously another top leverage stack, especially if Lance Lynn is going to be the chalk SP1 that I predict he is. It's just everything going for him. Great matchup, decent pitcher, great price tag compared to the guys that are in the upper range that all have tough matchups here. Like, he's the most expensive pitcher with a good matchup. And then Dodger bats again. I'll just have to see how they roll out there. I put him as my 5th favorite stack. So let's see what we got, and we'll get you on your way for your Monday. So give me Lynn, give me a Milwaukee stack. So give me Contreras, Adames, Frelick there. Yelich, if he's in, is fine. Kana's fine. Some of the cheaper pieces, it's okay. If you want to play Tellis or Santana at first base, that's fine also. And then I'm taking Machado and Tatis there. Kim, if he's in, works. And then if you want to take Soto, if you want to take Profar in the outfield to round it off, that's fine. FanDuel, same thing. Lynn, Contreras, Machado, Adames, Frelick, Tatis. It's pretty much the same core. It's the same thoughts. Since Lynn's your pitcher, you can go full Milwaukee stack, full San Diego, whatever combination works for you there. GPP, I am taking Waka as my pitcher, and I might take Sears as my SP2. Probably taking Wu as my SP2 in the cash, just to give you a heads up on that on DK. But give me the Phillies here. So Harper, Stott, and Turner's where I'm going. It comes down to Castellanos or Schwarber. Schwarber's got the splits advantage, and he's boom or bust, but Cassie has been more consistent recently. So I think I'm going to lean Cassie there, but it's up to you. I'm going to fill in the cheap ace here. You can also go to the White Sox or Boston here. So I'm going to, it's a GPP, so let me target Wu and hope maybe as an off game and some of these A's power bats come alive against him. Lefty on righty matchup. And then I have more salary on FanDuel, so I'm able to get the White Sox in there, but I'm okay with the A's. Boston, if you can make it work with their righties in a great matchup also, but I'm going Philadelphia as my primary stack. If you want to go Braves, I get it also. Seattle's in a good, Houston's in a good spot, Baltimore, Texas. I mean, there's so many great things that you can rotate in for the Phillies there, but with the pitchers like Peralta and Wheeler, if you're paying up, Verlander and Erod are risky. Lynn and Waka, I think, are safe. Clevenger and Montgomery are on the cusp there, but like Wu's definitely a good one in the low range. So lots of ways to go. Should be an exciting slate. Can't wait to play it. Stay tuned for the NFL Showdown video sometime this afternoon. Appreciate you watching. So as always, if you have any questions, put in the chat below. Hit me up at MegaRuler31 on formerly Twitter, now known as X. And as I said before, if these videos help you, you can help us back by liking them, subscribing to our channel so we know all our different videos are coming out, and sharing with your friends. And also, if we want more information on FSi DFS, you can go to the description of the video, and there's a link to get to our website to sign up for our subscriptions. I promise you, they are very fairly priced, very cheap. It's only like $5 or like $10 for like a weekly subscription to different things, or even like monthly subscriptions. Like, it is not expensive at all. So thanks for watching. Good luck in your contest. Hope you have an amazing Monday, a great start to your week, and I will see you next time.